Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to another episode of Compelled by Purpose. I don't know which road led you here, but I welcome you to take a seat and stay a while. I'm Elizabeth, your host, and without much ado, let's get into today's episode. Let's linger a little longer on this entity called wisdom. Go with me, let's read a couple more verses. Go with me to Proverbs 4, verse 5, and let's take the Berean Study Bible version. It says, "Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will preserve you. Love her, and she will guard you." Wisdom is supreme, so acquire wisdom, and whatever you may acquire, gain understanding. I love the New Living Translation on that final verse. It says, "Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment." So whatever else we wake up and do, get wisdom, get good judgment. James 3:13 says, let's take the New Living Translation. "If you are wise and you understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life, doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom." There we go again. The proof of wisdom, of God's wisdom, is that a man is able to do good works. And these works are done with humility that comes from wisdom. I like that word, humility. If I'm going to get wisdom, I'm going to have to humble myself. I'm going to have to take a posture of humility. And Paul tells us why that is so important. 1 Corinthians. And let's start from verse 18. It says, "For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise. The intelligence of the intelligent I will frustrate." Where is the wise man? Where is the scribe? Where is the philosopher of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? For since in the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not know him, God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. Jews demand signs, and Greeks search for wisdom, but we teach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. For the foolishness of God is wiser than man's wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than man's strength. Brothers, consider the time of your calling. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. He chose the lowly and the despised things of the world and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast in his presence. Isn't that just wonderful? Earlier in the beginning, we said the mandate was given to everyone. There was no exception. There was no happenstance. Nothing was nullifying any man from being successful, from being fruitful, from multiplying, from having dominion. And here, Paul says it very clearly. Not many of us are wise by human standards. Education's not available to everyone. Not many are powerful. We don't all come from powerful families. Not many are of noble birth. And if that sounds like you, then you are in the perfect place, because it says God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. All the things that we imagine to matter: where we were born, how much education we have, what our family offered us, what life has offered us, the opportunities that life has given us. Paul says all that is foolishness. That the Word of God, the wisdom of God, is hidden. It's the opposite. I like to call it the law of opposites. That the things that sound like should disqualify you from success actually have no bearing whatsoever with success, not with God's success, which is why he says the wisdom of God and the wisdom of the world, the wisdom of man. And for a man to be able to embrace the wisdom of God and remove it, distinctly separated from the wisdom of man, it requires humility. It requires a man to embrace, to look foolish. It will frustrate the intelligence of the intelligent. Where is the wise man, the philosopher of this age? And I know there are very many people that we look up to in terms of education, how much they've done, and we think, wow, that person knows a lot. But that's just human wisdom. And the Bible tells us that's not the wisdom that gets you success. God's wisdom has no exceptions. It's not banked on who you are, banked on where you come from. And I know I keep saying it over and over again, but I want you to embrace the fact that anyone can go after wisdom. You just need to humble yourself and be able to put away what we know as wisdom, the things we've been taught in school, to be able to say, that's the wisdom of man, but I'm looking for the wisdom of God. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than man's wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than man's strength. A drop of God's wisdom, even a drop of it, is wiser than any of man's wisdom. Wisdom is supreme. If you get anything else, if you go after anything else, go after wisdom. In the next episode, we'll go into wisdom's house and finally begin to look at the 7 pillars. My good deeds, my bricks, my house. I want to know how to build it. I want to see what wisdom has done. And we'll go into, finally, the 7 pillars of wisdom and how to be fruitful, multiply, and actually dominate. And that's all for today, folks. Allow me to take a breather here. Thank you so much for journeying with me. I pray the words spoken today linger in your spirit and the light of God shines upon you to see something new, to guide you to become the person you were created to be. The world is longing to see it. I would also love to hear from you. Do write a comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless.